Hey everyone, Duke here, and today we're going over the 5th and final King's Fall challenge, Hands Off. This challenge is for the Oryx Encounter and requires that you never kill the same Ogre spawn or the same Knight spawn throughout the entirety of the encounter. Master is going to include 4 overloads, 1 on each plate, instead of the Knights that spawn on normal mode, so overload bow mods are going to be very important parts of your loadout. I prefer to have everyone focus on 1 overload at a time around the room, and you can also have 1 person on Aeons to make heavy from some or all of these champions. Another change on Master is that there are arc shields on each of the corner knights that spawn whenever an ogre is killed, so I would highly recommend everyone on the team run Arbalest to take these down easily. I normally run Arbalest here anyway, even on normal, so this isn't much of a change if you're used to Arbalest, but you definitely want everyone on the team to be able to easily take down both ogres and knights. There's also a number of void shields throughout the Master version, as well as more arc shields on the Centurions that spawn, so you can consider running a void bow. I've actually ran a solar bow myself with incandescent just for the added bit of ad clear, and used my Arbalest to break shields as needed, but just keep those shields in mind. As for heavy, linear fusion rifles will of course again be the choice. Now you can potentially have someone run Divinity for the debuff and extra 30% damage, but that will make them have more potential difficulty if they're needed to kill an ogre or a knight. An alternate option is to have someone on a void subclass running the Echo of Undermining Fragment and using that to debuff Oryx for 15%, while Tether seems to be extremely inconsistent in providing its debuff on Oryx. As for the challenge itself, there's a number of viable strategies, but I will be going over one potential option. Assign 1 person for each plate to start. This person will be responsible for killing the ogre next to their plate, as well as the knight that spawns opposite of their plate after defeating their ogre. To make this easier and not have to worry about someone getting torn, you can either kill all of the ogres and knights before getting on the plates at all, or have your runner stop at the second to last plate until all ogres and knights are down, so that the torn between dimensions does not switch to someone as they're trying to kill an ogre or a knight. There's more than enough time to do this as long as your runner doesn't fall multiple times, and by dealing with the challenge part first, you can run the encounter normal afterwards. The only change is that after each damage phase, you will need to rotate plates so that each person is responsible for a new ogre and new knight for each round. I recommend rotating everyone clockwise, but it does not matter whatsoever however you want to do that. If you are responsible for the boss left plate, you would want to be killing the ogre that spawns out of the pool right next to the plate right here, and then you would also be responsible for killing the knight that spawns basically kitty corner across the way. Then after the first round, you're going to rotate. Again, it doesn't really matter which direction, but let's just say you're going to rotate clockwise. So then you would be responsible for the boss right plate, have to kill the ogre that spawns in this pool over here, and then need to kill the knight that spawns, again, cross corner from said ogre. And just for completion's sake, on the 3rd round, you would end up being the spawn right plate in this example. You would be responsible for killing the ogre right next to the plate, and then of course need to kill the knight that is cross corner from it. And finally, if you needed to go to a 4th round, you would be responsible for spawn left plate, killing the ogre next to it, and again killing the final knight that would spawn in the corner across from it. Again, if you're doing pretty reasonable damage, you shouldn't need all 4 rounds, but just for completion's sake, just letting you know kind of how the rotation would work all the way through. If something does go sideways, like someone dying for example, your 2 players that aren't responsible for a plate can also help kill ogres or knights, but only once per spawn throughout the encounter. I would not recommend helping people with their ogres and knights unless you are very confident on who is actually getting the finishing blow and the kill, as this can cause confusion on who actually got the kill, potentially causing a challenge failed. My final note is that the 2 ogres that spawn at the very end during Final Stand do count towards the challenge, so make sure that whoever kills these ogres did not kill those specific spawns earlier in the encounter. As long as you're not 4-phasing, you can just do 1 more rotation and have whoever would be killing those ogres on the next phase kill them, or of course you can have your floaters kill them as long as they didn't need to help with those ogres earlier in the encounter. If you are 4-phasing, you will have to count on your floaters to kill these 2 ogres. Once Oryx is defeated, you have completed the final King's Fall challenge. I'll be doing helps on this challenge on my stream multiple evenings this week at twitch.tv/dukeiscool, so come on by if you need a team. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.